Hi there. Welcome back to Special Educators Resource Room podcast. I'm Jennifer from Positively Learning. Today we're diving into a topic that I think every special educator has whispered to themselves at least once, if not every single week. What if I just don't have time for progress monitoring? Hey, special educators. I'm Jennifer from Positively Learning. Welcome to the Special Educators Resource Room. If you're like me, you're always looking for ways to save time and streamline your work. That's why this podcast was created, to give you the systems and solutions you need to get your time back. Tune in for tips, tricks, and tools that will help you manage your workload and make the most of your time. Whether you're brand new or experienced, all are welcome in the Special Educators Resource Room. Let me just say this right at the top. If you are feeling like you do not have time for progress monitoring or collecting any type of data, you are not alone, and you're not doing anything wrong. You're not behind. You're not failing. You're working in a system that expects you to teach, manage behaviors, adjust lessons, lead meetings, write legal documents, and track every detail of student progress all in the same day. Today's episode is for those moments when you care deeply about student growth, but the actual process of tracking that growth feels completely impossible. Let's talk about how to make progress monitoring manageable on your real-life schedule. Because the reality, it's not that you don't care. It's that you don't have time. And let's be honest, you already know progress monitoring is important. You want to make data-driven decisions. I don't need to say anything. You want to advocate for your students with confidence. But when every second is spoken for, tracking student data tends to be the first thing that falls off the list. And you're not alone. I talk with teachers every week who tell me, I have 6 data sheets going at once and I can't keep up. Or, I know my student is making progress. I just don't have time to prove it. I'm using work samples, but I'm not logging anything. I'm so behind, I don't even know where to start. Does any of that sound familiar? If that's you, you are in good company. So now let's get practical. Let's redefine progress monitoring. Progress monitoring doesn't mean you have to have formal data collection 5 times a week. It doesn't mean graphs and spreadsheets and hand-colored bar charts, unless you want it to. Let's shift our mindset from perfect data to useful data. Here's a better definition. Progress monitoring is any consistent system you use to show how a student is moving toward a goal. Let's put that in writing. If that system only takes a minute a day and uses materials you already have, that counts. So I have 3 time-saving strategies that actually work, and I've used them myself, and I recommended them to dozens of teachers when time is tight and tracking still has to happen. So here's strategy number 1. Track 1 student per day. Instead of trying to track data for your entire caseload on one day, break it down. Monday, student A. Tuesday, student B, and so on. And if your caseload is larger, double up. You could have student A in the morning, student B in the afternoon. Even if you only collect one solid piece of data, you're going to rotate through your entire caseload schedule every week or 2 and avoid that all or nothing trap. And bonus, you're going to start to see patterns more easily when you give each student your focused attention. Strategy 2, use what you're already doing. You don't need to create separate progress monitoring tasks if your students are already completing activities that show their skill level. So you can ask yourself, can I use this task box as a data point? Can I score this warm-up worksheet? Can I use this journal response as a writing sample? The answer is usually yes. I can grab a sticky note or a printed data slip and just jot down a quick note. Completed task independently, 4 out of 5 correct on May 28th. Stick it in a folder or snap a photo for your digital log. Boom, that's data. This is especially helpful with task boxes and independent work systems. So if you're using those on a regular basis, you have built-in opportunities for documentation. You just need a quick system to record it. Strategy 3, use clipboards or grab-and-go data sheets. The biggest reason we don't collect data is it's out of reach. Literally. If your data sheets are buried in a binder or saved in a folder on your desktop that you don't open till Friday, they're easy to forget. Instead, Keep a clipboard or a data folder. Keep it on your small group table or in your teacher bag or on the back of a cabinet door. Hang by the door some grab-and-go check-ins. You can even attach a mini form directly to a student's task box or binder. Make it easy to grab and write, even if it's just the date and a check mark. So let's talk about what counts as progress monitoring. Spoiler alert, it's more than you think. These all count. Task box completion logs, work samples with brief notes, behavior frequency tallies, exit slips, teacher observations written on sticky notes, digital screenshots of completed online work, photos of students sorting, matching, or labeling. If you're doing the work, you deserve credit for it. Your documentation is just making it visible. So what if you are already behind? Let's take a deep breath here. If you're thinking, okay, these tips sound great, but I'm already weeks behind. And by weeks, you mean months. I hear you. Here's what I would suggest. Step 1, pick one student to focus on this week, just one. Step 2, choose a task or activity that aligns with one of their goals. And step 3, collect one meaningful data point and write it down. That is it. Then repeat with a different student next week or every other day. You will slowly rebuild your routine without burning out. And my pro tip, document the system you're using, because sometimes we feel like we're not doing enough because we don't have a formal log. But here's the thing. If you ever need to show what system you're using to monitor progress, just write a quick explanation on your lesson plan or your IEP notes. You could say, progress is monitored through weekly task completion data, supported by monthly work samples and teacher observation. That sentence alone tells your team and your admin that you have a plan. So let's recap. If progress monitoring feels impossible right now, try this. Shift from perfect to useful data. Track one student per day. Use existing tasks like task boxes and independent work binders. Keep data sheets accessible and visible. Start with small, consistent wins. Even one data point matters. You don't have to do it all. You just have to do what's doable and do that consistently. Let's revisit that new definition of progress monitoring. Progress monitoring is any consistent system you use to show how a student is moving toward a goal. If you've been feeling behind, I want to remind you of this. You're already doing the hard part. You're teaching, you're supporting, you're adapting, you're noticing student growth. Progress monitoring is just the documentation of the incredible work you're already doing. So let's make it work for you and not become another thing to dread. And if you want a bank of ready-to-use tools like data slips, progress checklists, student-friendly visuals, those are all inside the TaskBox Dollar Club and the Complete Independent Work Club. They're there to make your day feel smoother and not harder. Thanks for spending a few minutes with me today. You've got this. I'll talk to you next week in the Special Educators Resource Room. Thanks so much for tuning in, and I'm dying to ask, what'd you think? Be sure to hit the follow or subscribe buttons so that you never miss an episode. You can find the show notes and links for everything mentioned in this episode at positivelylearningblog.com. See you next week for more special education solutions.